This video will show you how to collect, download, and analyze the data from your microbit in the investigation where we're using a stick to model what's happening with a sound maker. So to do that, we first need to set up our microbit to actually collect the data. That means we need to install a battery pack, which will go somewhere up here. In the top left corner, there's a little white piece on your real microbit. If the battery pack does not easily plug in, you might need to flip the cable around. And then once it's plugged in, we can attach it to the stick the way your teacher will show you so that it's on the end. And as the microbit moves back and forth, it's showing us also how the stick moves. And then you will pull back the microbit an inch or two, depending on what your class discussed, and push the A button. There will be a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then a check mark will appear. Once that check mark appears, you can release the stick and data collection will begin. The microbit will move back and forth like this, indicating the tilt of the stick, and it will help us track that motion. Once numbers start scrolling after about 10 seconds, that indicates that the microbit is done collecting data, and you can attach it and get that data on your computer. In order to do that, you'll need to connect it via USB. The USB port is up at the top middle of the microbit. If the USB cable does not slide in neatly, you might need to flip it around. Once it's connected to the computer by USB, something should appear on the computer. There should be a file structure like this. Your teacher will show you what it looks like on your computer. You want to find the folder called microbit, and there will be a file in there called My Data. Double-click that to open it, and it will look like this. Now, this initially might be kind of overwhelming, and it's not really easy to analyze this data. So we need to put it in a form that will look nicer to us. To do that, we hit download, and a file called microbit.csv will download. A CSV is a special type of file that's often used for data collection. It kind of looks like a spreadsheet with lots of different cells with numbers in them, like a big table. Your teacher will show you how to find that on your device. It will typically be in a folder called Downloads. We can double click on that to open it, and it will look like this. Notice both on the My Data file here and then on the CSV, we actually have 2 time columns. That's because the microbit keeps track of time in kind of a weird way. We don't really care about this first column. And CSV files are kind of difficult for us to collaboratively share data, which we want to do. So we're going to take this data and put it in a spreadsheet that your teacher will share with you. In this spreadsheet, there's space for different materials. Each group can put their data on a different tab. Make sure you check with your teacher to know which tab is yours. And then there are 2 columns for the time and angle for condition 1. That's the light push. And then when we do condition 2, you'll add those to these columns. So we're going to copy our data and put it in these 2 columns. To do that, you select columns B and C on that CSV file. And then you want to copy it. So that's Control or Command C on your keyboard. And then here, you hit Control V or Command V to paste it. And then you can change these column names back to condition 1 time and condition 1 angle if you want. And then you'll do the same thing when you collect the condition 2 data and put that data here. Before you go collect that data, though, it's important that you properly disconnect the microbit from the computer. Your teacher will show you if this looks different on your device, but somewhere down here, there will typically be an option where there's something that looks like this, looks like a little USB stick, and it will say safely remove hardware or something similar. If you click on that, it will say eject microbit. You'll do that, and then you can safely remove the USB cable from the computer. If you don't follow that process, it can sometimes mess up the microbit because the computer and the microbit are trying to communicate with one another, and the microbit has some data erased.